All right, today we're back. We are honored to introduce a new character in this video series, and we have Navy legend, cross-country coach, Coach Karen Boyle, to talk with us today about running. That's going to be the topic for today's videos. So we are very excited to have you here today, Coach Boyle. And as a non-runner, I thought let's bring in an expert on the sport. So.
Well, thanks, Bill. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I have a lot of experience. So I just finished 33 years of coaching. I'm retired actually about a year ago from now. And what I'm doing now is teaching physical education here, lifetime fitness courses to the seniors. And so that's like kayaking, triathlon. Also, I work in the physiology lab, which is awesome because we do gait analysis, analyzing, how to make people more efficient with their stride. And as well as that, I am a consultant for our midshipmen as well as some of our people out in the fleet who might be training for a 5K or bettering their mile-and-a-half time, 5K, 10K marathons, half marathons, and also transition into either swim training, run training, because they're so compatible. A lot of swimmers, it seems like, have shoulder type problems. A lot of runners have leg problems. So they're both very good cardiovascular training, and so they definitely complement each other really well.
So you're staying busy.
Yes, I love it. I love it, and I love the fact that some of our past grads, feel comfortable about contacting me to, either set up a program. Like this woman is a lieutenant now, and she is running a 10:40 mile-and-a-half and a 24-minute 5K. She wants to get down to a 10-minute mile-and-a-half as well as a 20-minute run for her, or pace for her 5K. And so it's fun, the cool thing about it is that you always have to start with a goal. So, her goal is to get there by September. So we start at the goal and then we come back to where our starting point is and set out each week, basically only taking up the volume by 10% each week. And it's fun. It's like a chess game, of plugging everything in, and she's doing amazingly well. I'm very excited. She didn't like running when she was here because she was a thrower, and some of the throwers don't enjoy running. They're a little bigger. And now she's like, wow, you really have me. I'm actually loving running. So, once people know how to train, it makes a huge difference in setting it up. Her workouts prior, hey, how you doing? Prior were, she would start out way too fast. She was running way too fast for the paces that she wanted to run. So I got her to figure out her pacing much better, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun.
So if I'm an alum or just someone interested in running, and I don't know a lot about the sport, I enjoy running, I like to go out and run. Before we even take our first step, Coach, what are some things I need to know about equipment and just getting onto the road? What will help me be the best runner I can be in terms of equipment?
Sure. And the fun part about that is a lot of people will just grab a pair of shoes, grab a pair of socks, and think they're ready, to run out the door. So basically you always want to start with getting a good pair of socks that are breathable, they'll dry so you're not going to get blisters, and then a good pair of shoes. So when you buy your first pair of shoes, running shoes, you should always go to a professional, a running type store who can look at your foot, see the type of foot you have, the type of arch you have, whether you're flat-footed or you have a high arch. Do you need cushioning? Do you need support? All that stuff. So they'll get you in the right shoe, and when you step into the shoe, you definitely it should feel comfortable right off the bat. Okay. Some people are like, oh, maybe once I break it in, it'll feel fine. But also when you go in the store, you want to put the shoe on with the socks you're going to run in, walk around the store, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to even a little bit of jogging, so if you have any friction points right away before you spend that money on your shoes.
Okay.
Some stores they'll have a treadmill where they'll test you and look at how your foot placement is to tell you what kind of shoe you start with. So then same thing with your clothing. You want to go with kind of like a tech type shirt, whether it's a tank top or whether it's a type of shirt that we have on. Anything that'll dry, a dry fit type shirt. And basically, same reason, it dries fast. You know, you're not going to have something that's holding your sweat. As well as your pants, whether you're wearing shorts or tights or whatever, same thing, you want that to be dry fit too, so that it dries fast. Starting with the goal, buy a good pair of socks, buy a good pair of shoes, buy your running clothing that's comfortable, it's loose fitting, and basically that covers what you want to start with.
So Coach Boyle, you had a long coaching career here, and then also you fairly recently have moved to Lejeune Hall and is teaching midshipmen how to swim on a pretty regular basis. And one of the things I noticed about Coach Boyle instantly when she came on deck was she's a big proponent of video and the iPhone. So she obviously recognizes the importance of technique in the water. And so I was hoping you could talk a little bit about technique for runners, especially people who aren't in the sport formally, but who need to know certain things about how can I improve my technique and how can I impact my performance on land. So.
Sure, yeah. I love using a video basically because I'm just not fast enough to grasp everything right away, especially with swim technique. But the nice thing about it is being able to slow it back and look at where things are falling apart, whether it's running or swimming. So with running form, basically you want to make sure that you're standing tall. I don't know, are you okay with me standing up?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in standing up, this basically is your running form. You want everything in alignment. So your ears are over your shoulders, over your hips, your knees, and your feet are planted mid-foot. Okay, so the basic form of running, a couple things that can really take somebody from being inefficient to really efficient. So one would be their arm swing. So we talk about having a rod that goes in one shoulder, out the other shoulder. So your arms are rotating, approximately in a 90-degree angle. It's going to be give or take a little bit. For women, we have wider hips, so our angle might be a little wider. For guys, they're a little bit closer. So you want to think of hand to your hip to your chest in your stride. Some people keep everything up here and then they're sitting back. So in order to fix that, you say, just pull your elbows back, chest up, and that puts you in a more efficient position.
Okay.
So the other thing we want to watch is you'll see some people who will sit back like this. So you want to keep that core nice and tight, nice and engaged, not really tight, but engaged, as well as keeping your hips under, not leaning back. So very important to have a really strong core. Your abdominal muscles, lower back, obliques, all of that whole package has to be, really strong, really tight. So the next problem that most people have is they think that you're supposed to take long strides.
Okay.
You want to take the stride that fits your strength and your fitness level. So in order to teach somebody how to take a stride, you tell them to lean forward, stand tall, lean forward toward the front of your foot, and then catch yourself. So when you catch yourself, you want to make sure you're catching yourself right under your body. So it's more of a midfoot.
Okay.
So you hit midfoot and then you extend off the ball of your foot and your toes, kind of push the ground back. So one thing you'll notice right away, one thing I'll notice right away with runners is when I see them and they're up like this. So basically you're really tight. That means your shoulders are tight. That means you're not really bringing in much air. You're very, very inefficient because you're putting torque now into your hips, your knees, your ankles, which definitely is going to injure you as well as slow you down. So you want everything that's moving forward in a nice line. A couple other things that you want to think of form-wise is your breathing. Like your breathing can really screw you up. And if you notice, most people who start out, and this happened to me with swimming, to where I would just go out really fast and then I'd die. So one thing that you want to teach runners is you want to diaphragm, deep belly breathe. And in order to do that, you have to relax and expand your stomach. So you can put your hand on your chest, hand on your stomach, and feel like you're filling that balloon.
Okay.
And you could do that easier if you breathe through your nose and just relax your lungs, your diaphragm, to fill that all the way through your diaphragm, expanding that lung capacity. So that's something that a lot of people have to practice. They're not used to it. Like when when they breathe, they'll breathe really short, just chest level. So they'll go into oxygen depth much faster. So you just teach that relaxation. Same thing with your hands. You keep your hands nice and relaxed. You don't try to tighten them up. And then to enforce that, you can go into just some basic drills that enforce the breathing as well as the landing. So if I see someone, like you could just do like a basic skip. So basically your foot's coming down right under your hips just to reinforce that position. When you're running, you think of bringing that foot down right underneath your hips. So what some people do is they think, oh, I always hear long stride, long stride. So what they do is they bring the heel out in front, which is a braking motion. So they end up, one, being really inefficient because then you have to pull yourself up over your heel to get to the ball of your foot. So, just some cues like that can make a huge difference with somebody that's running.
Oh, okay. So Coach Boyle, you mentioned ankle and potential for injury earlier. I wanted to ask you because, again, if I'm a swimmer, probably one of the key components to my success in the water, especially with the kick, is ankle flexibility. What is the impact of running on ankle flexibility?
There are a couple different ways that you think about flexibility with running. One is we do quite a few warm-up drills too, where, even basically if you sit, you do the ABC, because a lot of runners do have problems with calves, sometimes shin problems if they're not running properly. So, you do a lot of ankle rolls, you do the ABC. We also do some strength training. Basically with, we used to do kind of like a leg press type machine. You can also do it with an extended band or rope to where you're pressing against it. Or you can even do it with your hands. You're pushing against or having somebody pull your foot out and then resist coming back. So you're strengthening as well as stretching the ankle area.
Do you find that runners will develop tighter ankles as they get deeper into their careers or deeper into the season?
I think too, as we're aging, our ankles do get, and a lot of people don't stretch, so whether you do yoga or whether you just pick up 5 or 6 different types of stretches that you do, you normally stay dynamic warm up first, doing the skips. We'll even do some side to side to maybe you're doing this type of thing, skipping to the side, and bringing your arms up and around just to open up the entire body, inner outer hip as well. But there are just a lot of basic things that you want to do as you compete or as you train, as you age, in order to keep that flexibility.
That's awesome. Well, this will wrap up the first part. We're actually going to have a 2-part segment with Coach Boyle here, and we're going to get into some other aspects of running, including a workout. Thanks for watching. Coach Boyle, thanks for joining us today. This is special.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll hopefully check back for the second part of this video.